Do you remember as kids, when we fell off the bike, the first thing we'd do is clean the dirt out of our wounds, pick the bike up and get on it and start cycling again and laugh at having fallen over. But you know what? Something happened since that time. We grew up. It didn't matter how many times we fell off the bike. It's simply the joy and fun we had riding the bike outweighed the fear of falling. But as we've gotten older, we've forgotten these things, and we've let fear control our lives, hold us back from the things we want to do, hold us back from our growth, from our success. Well, today, my friend, you need to make a decision. Are you going to live from this moment forward with fear, or are you going to live to be a success? So let me tell you, if I may, a simple story about a quirky, crazy Doberman called Loki. Now, Loki came into our lives when he was just 8 weeks old, but by the time he was 1, he was seriously ill. He had a Doberman trait of low platelets and blood problems. He was misdiagnosed by the local vet, so it had left longer until the point he physically collapsed with blood coming out of his nose and coughing up blood. And so I rushed home, put him in the car. I picked him up. He was just limp. I already thought he was dead. We picked him up. I drove, made an appointment at 1 a.m. to drive all the way to Newmarket. But it didn't matter because the love that he'd given in just a year outweighed everything. The fear of driving all that way at night, or having to take time out or take the time off work. The love he'd give already outweighed all of those things. But we arrived at Newmarket at 1 a.m. and the veterinarians rushed out with a table. They put him on a table. He was limp. They were shaking their heads. They brought him inside. But as soon as he got inside, he lifted his head just a little bit to show he was still there. He's still fighting. Well, they said at that point, they looked at me and they said, it's probably less than 10% chance he's going to make it through the night. So I went home, I sat by the phone all night, and do you know what? They called me the very next day. They said, he's made it. We've got to keep him in for a week or so, but we think he's out of the woods. He's probably going to be on steroids and drugs for the next couple of years, but he's made it. So when somebody comes up to you and says, you can't do this, don't start changing your life because you can't do it. Very few people, the percentage of people that actually succeed at maybe getting in shape or changing their career or doing something is so low, it's hardly worth it. Well, then you do what Loki did. You lift up your head, you look to let people know, never tell me the odds. So you have to ask yourself a question, my friends. Are you a person that's going to live the rest of their life with fear? Fear of failing, fear of what others may think, fear of this, fear of that? Or are you a person that's going to succeed because success means more to you than failing? You will fail 100 times to have one success. Which is it for you? You see, for Loki, it didn't stop there. Over the next few years, he had operations to remove stones, growths. He had his bladder cut open to remove a growth as well. He had bad legs, he had arthritis. He was on medication over and over and over. But he went out every single day. He loved going out. That was his thing. He loved running, spending time with me, in the fields, on the bike. He enjoyed it so much. That was his life. Until one day, he twisted. I think he put his foot in a pothole, twisted his back, collapsed on the floor. This was when he was 5 years old. I had to carry him halfway. He weighed 50 kilos. It was very hard to carry him all the way. I put him down. He sat down. He tried to drag himself a little bit to get home. I had to lift him up and carry him. We finally got in the door about an hour later. Immediately called the vets and they came out. They examined him. I'm sorry. he's never gonna run again. Now to an animal, a dog, that his life is running, having fun. If he didn't do that, he wouldn't have a life. It's like us. You know, if we don't do the things we want to do when we give in to fear, what is our life? What is our point of life? Stuck the same as 99% of everyone else? Well, you see, even though they told Loki he would never run again, 6 weeks later, he was out, and guess what he was doing? He was running. Why? Because his love of running free and running in the fields was more important than sitting at home and trying to get better, or trying to be safe, or be afraid that one day he may fall over and hurt his back again. And did he hurt his back again? Yes, he did. Many times. But guess what? Every single time he got up and he got better, and he went out and run literally to the last day of his life. You see, he taught me something. He taught me that if you love something enough, it outweighs everything. Do you remember the beginning of the story? When we're on our bikes as kids, how much riding the bike outweighed the fear of falling, and how much running outside, outweighed the fear of hurting the back again for the dog, and outweighed the percentage. Never tell me the odds, because I'm going to do it anyway. You see, my friends, this is a story about a bike and a dog that can change our lives if we just listen, if we open our minds. Now, Loki lived all the way to 9 years old. He defied the odds. He lifted his head when they said you couldn't. He ran when they said he couldn't. He got up. He went out when they said he couldn't. Why? Because his love of going out, his love of his life, of what he wanted to be, was more important than sitting at home, was more important than anything. And that's who he is and who he was. But the question is, who are you? Are you going to be a person that watches something like this, sits back down and says, one day I'll make a change? Are you going to make a change today? Are you going to be someone that loves success, that loves the idea of achieving your goal much more than the idea of maybe failing at it? Because let me tell you something, one day you're going to fail. Whenever you try, you will fail. Like Loki, many times. But just keep getting back up. Keep getting back up. My name's Steve, and thank you for listening to my story. And rest in peace, Loki.